In today's floral illustration tutorial, we are going to work together step by step through the process of drawing irises. We'll do some practice work and then a finished piece. So let's get started. Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Shayda Campbell and today we are going to be drawing irises. So what I've done here is I've done a little practice work and I want to talk about the form of the iris. I looked it up on Google and the iris flower, there are many varieties, but it is made up of 3 large petals called the falls. That's what I'm drawing here, and they tend to flop down towards the stem. Let's do another one here. It's easy to start with 3 lines as your guide and then just do a petal shape. This is not the final petal, this is just our guide. Let's erase this a little so that you can see what I'm doing here. So we've got our 3 falls, our 3 large petals. They're not done by any means. As I said, this is just a guide. And the other 3 petals that make up the iris are called the standards. And to act as a guide to draw those petals, I like to do this cone shape right in the middle because those standards, those petals, they stand up. So I'm gonna start going over this in pen. I'm using a Pigma Micron today. And I sort of like to shake the tip of the pen a little to create a ruffled edge look on each petal. So you can see me doing that. I'm not happy with the size of the nib. I'm using the 02 Pigma Micron. I'm gonna quickly grab an 05 because that's just too thin, it looks funny. So I'll go around those again. This is just my practice work here. So we've got 2 of these large petals. You can do a line down the middle. The Dutch iris that I sort of based this off of has a bit of yellow right in the center. The petals are purple or violet, and then it has a sort of a bright yellow. So we'll draw that in. And then you can see me illustrating the standards, the petals that stand straight upright. I use that cone shape as my guide, and I kind of draw these petals around it. So it looks a little like a daffodil almost. And I'll finish by drawing in the 3rd fall petal in the back there. Let's talk about how to shade these as well. I like to add a lot of line shading to my contour drawings of flowers, and so I'll add these little broken curved lines on the petals, and I think that helps to show the shape of the petal, to show the curve of each petal, and of course it also helps with shading. Wherever there's darkness, the sepal underneath there is darker. It's not going to hit the light in the same way, or the light's not going to hit it. Now let's try drawing another one that's not quite as structured. This one's a little more free. So we see these 3 large fall petals. One is sort of standing up still, the other 2 are flopping over. So it's a little more floppy. It doesn't have the cone right in the middle, so you don't always have to draw that cone. Now I'm going to draw one where you do see all 6 petals or 5 petals, but it's a lot looser. So there's so many irises out there. When I Googled this, I was like, whoa, it's a lot of different flowers, but I kind of based mine, as I said, on a Dutch iris, and the iris is made up of these 6 petals. So in this one you can see the 3 large falls falling away from the center, and then there's 2 of the standards there. You can kind of see a 3rd petal sort of tucked in the back. But so it's up to you how tight you want to make that cone in the center, and also how loose you want those larger petals to be as they fall away. But it's all about movement, all about ruffly petals. And now we are going to go and design a finished illustration. So I'm all about laying down guidelines. We are gonna do a guide for my guide. So before I even do the petals guide, I'm doing circles where I want each flower to sit. So the finished illustration will have 4 flowers, just circles there. That shows me where I'll place them. Then within each circle, I'll do my petals guide. So 1, 2, 3 petals, and that is not the final shape, that is just the guide. The petal in the back tends to be, I make it slightly smaller because it's receiving receding away from the viewer so it doesn't look quite as long. And in this front here, for this very front flower, I'll do another 3 petals. So I'm doing my guide for the falls. And there's 3 more petals. And then this top corner flower, I'm going to do it a little looser where you're just seeing the 3 falls there and none of the standards, none of the tight petals in the center. Now, of course, I go around and I start refining the shape of each petal. These fall petals tend to be a little larger as they go outwards, and they tend to be a little smaller right where they meet the center, where they meet the standards. And of course, I'm working on the shape of those standards in the center as well. And so you can see me continuing the guide and the petal shapes for all these other flowers. I want to make sure I capture that ruffly nature of the side of each petal, and I do that just by shaking the pen a little. I don't want to go overboard, but it's just about getting that little bit of a wavy line, I guess. I was a little nervous, honestly, about drawing irises. I've always thought of them as sort of a funny flower with their floppy, strange petals. And I think what helped me was researching them a little, understanding the parts, the falls, and the standards. And that goes for any flower illustration. It's so important to just do a tiny bit of research and understand the different parts of the flower, you know, like petals, sepals, stamen, leaves. Knowing all those different bits, that tiny bit of knowledge can really elevate your drawings. It's just about knowing what it is that you're trying to capture. So anyway, that was just a takeaway for me when I was drawing these irises, because I was a little nervous, and it helped to think, oh, okay, this jumble of petals that I'm looking at is actually 3 large falls and 3 tighter standards. So it made the difference. Anyway, my flowers are really coming together. I have a nice contour drawing. Now I want to take a pencil and just make sure that the stems are all straight and joined. There's nothing worse than when your stem dips behind another flower, it doesn't quite line up with the other side. So do that in pencil and then go over it in pen. And that's what you see me doing here. And as I said, this is the end of the contour drawing. I just need to erase all those pencil lines, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. And at this point, you could stop. You don't need to take this any further. This is the iris. But as you know, I like to add a lot of not a lot of contour drawing. I like to add a lot of line shading to my drawings. And so that's what I'm going to do now. And I'm starting with those curved, broken lines. These really help to show the shape of each petal, and it shows that they're curving in a certain way. You can see as I add the lines to the standards in the center, it really helps to show that conical shape. So when we're shading, we're showing shape and form, but we're also showing shadow and depth. And this is what I'm doing now. Because the iris is slightly conical and it sort of recedes in towards the sepal, I want to add more lines here in the center of the standards where the light wouldn't hit quite as much. At the bottom of the standards where they meet the falls, the larger petals, the light wouldn't get in there quite as much either. So you see me adding these lines for shape, little tiny lines on the edge of the petals to show the ruffly nature of each petal, and then more lines towards the center of the flower to show shadow, to show that the light wouldn't reach there quite as much. So you're showing light and shadow, and that's a wonderful thing. And you're also elevating the shape and form of your drawing when you add the line shading or cross hatching or whatever you like to do. And it's important to think about moving or drawing these lines in a way that goes along with the shape of the flower. So if I have a petal that's a certain shape, I want the lines to be curved with the petal. This might sound a little tricky, but it just comes with time and practice. You know, the lines near the center of the flower are sort of fanning out as the petal gets larger. So it's just little things like that that will also help your drawing to look so much more sophisticated. And I know line shading can look tricky and overwhelming, but it's really not. You can see here I'm adding some shading where the 2 petals meet, because that petal on top would cast a bit of a shadow on the petal below. So that's all I'm doing, just trying to think logically about my light and shadow. And here is just one more example. This one I think you can really see how just those few lines really show that that petal is curved and that it curves toward that point, that vein that runs along the back. And then those tiny lines on the edges of the petals, those really show that ruffly texture of the petal edges. And I think that's what really makes it look like an iris. Those ruffly petals, to me, that's what the iris is all about. I was also looking up what the Victorian secret language of flowers says about the iris, and there are many meanings, but the purple iris stands for wisdom and compliments, I think it was, and the blue iris is a symbol of hope and faith. So kind of nice meanings for the iris. I love the language of flowers. It's such a romantic notion. So at this point, I'm almost done line shading. I just want to take a step back from the piece, look at it as a whole, so look at all the flowers together, and if there's one that's a little lighter, I can add a little more shading. Not that they all need to be exactly the same lightness and darkness, but just achieving some balance, and then I'm all done. That is my iris illustration. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Let me know in the comments what flower you would like to see next, and I will see you soon with a new tutorial.